The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Is Susan Daniels. She is the private investigator who broke the story of Barack Obama's Social Security number having already been used by someone who was born in 1890. Again, for some reason, the press wasn't interested in that, but fortunately we have Susan Daniels here herself today to tell that story. Susan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. As I tell all my guests, thank you for what you do. Thank you for having the courage to go forward with this. It seems to me that right now in America, we are lacking a lot of people with backbone who have the courage to tell the truth on Barack Obama's manufactured life narrative. And I just want to, first of all, thank you for having the courage to speak the truth, which it may seem like something that everyone would do, but that's not happening right now. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Susan, tell me how in the world you got involved with this project and when you first detected that there might be a problem with Barack Obama's Social Security number.
In August of 2009, at the behest of one of my clients, he asked me to look into the background of Barack Obama. Now, I had never dreamed for a minute I'd find anything, but because he was a good client, I said, yes, I'll try. And to my astonishment, I found immediately a Social Security number. Because I've done this work for almost 17 years now, I realized immediately that it was fraudulent because it was issued in Connecticut, and he was at that time 15 years old and living in Hawaii and going to high school. Now, they've since changed the law this year, but up until June of this year, Social Security numbers were issued by the address you lived at when you applied for them. And I knew that he had never been anywhere near Connecticut when he was 15 years old. He didn't start using the number. It was issued, by the way, in March of 77. He never started using it until 1986. When I first pulled it up originally, it came up with his name, his date of birth, and above that it said 1890. Now, of course, I've never seen that before, and red flags went up on that one. Well, what I've since figured out is the number was originally issued to somebody in the year that was born in the year 1890.
For people who don't know much about this, the first thing they shoot back with was, well, we didn't have Social Security numbers back in 1890.
I know.
So that's, okay,
know.
So go ahead and address
it
that
makes
one,
me want to smack my forehead. Social Security was implemented in 1935. It was voluntary. Nobody was forced to get it. So obviously no numbers were issued before 1935. My theory is that this person was born in 1890. In the year 1977, they would have been 87 years old. I believe that they needed a Social Security number for medical care. They could not have gotten it, say it was somebody, that didn't have a lot of money. They could not have gotten any kind of care without a Social Security number. And I believe when the person was 87 years old, that the number was issued to them.
Susan, I apologize, but I have to interrupt. When you look at dates, specifically birth dates on Social Security paperwork, they are typically in a month, date, year format. Now, a lot of people are looking at this number 1890, even though it's in the place where you would find a birth date, and they're saying, it's not really a birth date. That's just some random number that doesn't mean anything. What are your thoughts on this?
I would think that in all the many years that I've done this, the thousands of Social Security numbers I have looked at, I have never once seen a second date on a Social Security number, ever. And also, if he had been issued a Social Security number from, say, California, if it had come up as issued in California, I really probably would not have given it a second thought. I would have thought, well, it's not likely, but could it be possible? Maybe. Wouldn't have thought twice. But when I saw Connecticut, it was like, bang, here we go. This is not real. And, I just throw this in as a sideline. It has totally nothing to do with Barack Obama, but I discovered that his aunt Zatuni is using a phony Social Security number also.
My goodness.
She, who has only been in Massachusetts the entire time, she has been living off of us and sucking off of the welfare system. Hers was issued in Indiana.
Boy, I tell you what, I don't know who goes door to door selling these fake Social Security numbers, but they found a gold mine with the Obama family.
Oh, yeah. I see a pattern here,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to deny that. Well, let me ask you this regarding your personal experience, Susan. What has been your experience since coming forward? I'm guessing, like everybody involved in challenging the Obama life story, that you've been called nutty, you've been called crazy, they've attacked your credentials. I'm taking a stab at this, but how far off am I? What kind of attacks have you come under?
Well, the worst that has happened is people accuse me of being a liar, and I'm state licensed and have been in Ohio since March of 1995. How my license should be revoked, and crazy things like that. Nothing. I'll tell you the truth. I was expecting serious problems in the beginning when I first came out with this information. I expected people in black cars to be pounding on my door, and it never happened. And at this point, I have no concerns about it whatsoever. It's 2 years into it, and it's too late. I mean, any harm that they could bring to me, it's too late.
Well, I think at this point, as far as he's concerned, the damage has been done.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know you can't talk much about it, but the question I asked Jerome Corsi a little earlier was whether or not he got the feeling that these issues were gaining traction again, that people were actually finally starting to pay attention. What's your take on that from the
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm getting calls from people that I never anticipated getting calls from. It is definitely picking up traction. One of the things I noticed too is I've been on your show before, Mark, and I've done just dozens of other radio shows over the last year or so, and a number of them are on YouTube, and I see the numbers are increasing of people who are going there and listening to the interviews.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.